So that clearly looks like an arm cannon of some kind. The big question is, who does this arm cannon belong to? What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex here, and you're watching The Road to TF5. This is just a web series we're talking about Transformers last night. This is episode number 63. And before we begin, happy belated birthday to Ionbot, Simi Lee, William Fleming, and also Biggie1000. Happy birthday to all y'all. Hope you had a good one, and thank you for your support at the Ragin Nation. So what we're going to talk about in this episode is a lot of crazy stuff went down in Detroit. Holy cow. Okay, let's just recap on what has been going on. The Fisher Building. Last week at Detroit at the Fisher Building, there has been some filming going on there, and Tim Mallon on Twitter posted a video of a camera chopper flying around the Golden Tower. Check that out. So this could just be some, exterior shot of the building to establish that there is something going on inside or around the building, okay? But afterwards, we got a shot from Michelle Leilani, who posted an interior shot of the Fisher Theater. So this could mean that characters are inside the building. I don't know what they're doing in the building, but I think they're about to make their way to the rooftop, because remember last episode I mentioned that Matthew Lornek on Twitter posted a short video of Cade Yeager hanging on the rooftop of the building. Okay, and I was asking you guys, like, do you think he was gonna, if he's being chased by humans or Decepticons? Now here's where it gets crazy. Okay, thank you to Banana Doc on Twitter. He's posted some action-packed photos of Mark Wahlberg's stuntman doing some high-flying stunt work on what appears to be, or rather could potentially be, an arm cannon of a Decepticon. Now check this out. First of all, I want to say thank you to Banana Doc, because these are wonderful photos. They're really, really clear shots, and man, this is crazy. Now, I believe this sequence follows immediately after the rooftop scene. You know that rooftop scene where Mark Wahlberg's hanging off? Well, this would follow immediately after. The reason why I believe so is because, it takes place in the air, and maybe the Decepticon, whichever Decepticon it may be, grabbed Mark Wahlberg, and now there's this scene where he has to hang on for his life. Now, check out these photos. Obviously, it's a stuntman, but look at that arm cannon. Check that out. I don't even know if it's 100% an arm cannon, but what you see here is the cannon. The color of this arm is brown. That is very, very weathered. And to top things off, look at the sides. The sides, if you zoom in right there, those are rounds. So that clearly looks like an arm cannon of some kind. The big question is, who does this arm cannon belong to? Which known Decepticon could it possibly be? And by known Decepticons, I'm talking about perhaps one of the 4 Decepticons that we already know about. For example, could be Barricade, but that's the wrong color. Could be the giant tow truck, the Western Star tow truck. Once again, not white or green. It's the wrong color. Definitely not the motorcycle, not the Confederate 61 motorcycle, because that's way too big. Now, could it be the Volkswagen? You know, that Volkswagen, that old van? I mean, it is the same color, but that seems pretty large for an arm cannon. So, I don't know. It's still up in the air, but literally. But Cade Yeager is hanging on to dear life on a Decepticon arm cannon, and that is a really, really exciting scene. Now, Detroit has been the playground for Michael Bay for the last couple of Transformers films. It's an 8-week-long shoot for the last night, and I think they're a little bit over halfway done. So far, Detroit has stood in for Chicago. It has also stood in for Age of Extinction. I mean, it has stood in for Hong Kong in Age of Extinction, but it appears that Detroit is now standing in for London. Now, I've already mentioned that, or rather, the production, as you may already be aware, is going to be a globe-trotting adventure. So it's going to take place in the United States, it's going to take place in maybe Asia, it's also going to take place in London and maybe Northern Ireland, maybe Iceland, and also Cuba. One of those locations is, of course, London, and it looks like, from what we can see from these photos, Detroit is standing in for London. And once again, thank you to Banana Doc on Twitter. I mean, he's really on the ball with all these photos. The first set of photos I want to show you guys is all these black Lexus sedans. They're all very uniform. It's all the same kind. They all have London plates on them. So could this be a fleet of human cars? I don't think so. I think this could be the last night's answer to Decepticon drones. Now, we've seen Decepticon drones in Revenge of the Fallen. You know, they weren't really... they were just nameless Decepticons, and then we started seeing drones once again in Dark of the Moon. But they also introduced, of course, the Dreads, which transformed into 3 different unique robot modes. And then we saw the KSI prototypes. Those were also a type of drone, type of evil robot. Okay, I'm not going to say Decepticon, they were an evil robot. And now we have these Lexus sedans, which I'm thinking are going to transform. And maybe that's part of the Decepticon battle group, alright? But, so, of course, this is London, so we're going to see London police officers, London police cars, signs leading to the underground, and Stella Artois. This is our first look at product placement. There's got to be product placement, especially for alcohol. In Age of Extinction, it was Bud Light. Now it's Stella Artois. Okay. Now, something really big went down in Detroit, and one of those big things was, you know, there's this vehicle that Michael Bay loves to use, and it's a car flipping vehicle. Essentially, it is it's a mobile ramp. It's a ramp on wheels, and what we just saw, what you see here, as posted on the Twitter account of Deadline Detroit, is photos of this mobile ramp driving into, or rather ramming into, 2 vehicles and essentially flipping them. Now, why would they do this sort of thing? Well, obviously it's because a car is not flipping them. It's a robot. And it would be a robot that would be produced later on in post-production using CG. So the big question is, which robot is it that is running through those vehicles? Could it be one of those Decepticon drones? Maybe it's Megatron's Beast Mode, or one of the other Decepticons, or maybe Barricade. Who knows? But Banana Doc has posted a video that you can check out. It's pretty cool, because if you watch it, you can see the actual action take place. And not only that, Phil Munsey posted a video from a higher angle. You can check it out from a much wider perspective. Okay, moving on. Oh yeah, check out the here's the little flipping vehicle. It's a pretty cool vehicle. You can see that it can do some serious damage, and there's no getting away from this. Once it drives into you, you are going to be flipped. Okay, now I did mention that one of the Decepticons, or rather one of the robots that could be running into those 2 vehicles, could be Barricade. The reason why I say Barricade is because in London, what is also being filmed is potentially Barricade's revenge. Now, we saw Barricade fight Bumblebee, but he kind of lost in that hand-to-hand battle. We saw him come back in Transformers Dark of the Moon, but we didn't see him as a confirmed kill, taken out by Nest, right? We didn't see him, like, totally die. He just got his leg blown off. But he makes his return in Transformers last night, and it looks like he's going to get his revenge against Bumblebee. As you can see right here from this photo posted on Instagram account THoffman90, you can see here's Bumblebee, and he appears to be a convertible. And then right beside it is, of course, Barricade. And now let's check out some photos from the actual chase. Whoa, check that out. We got the Porsche Cayenne, which is also known as the Pursuit Camera System. It's basically a vehicle that can do capture high-speed car chases. Bumblebee in the back, and Barricade totally tailgating him. It's a really intense chase sequence, and we got some great photos from the Daily Mail UK, and they posted some really great shots of Bumblebee as a convertible with Mark Wahlberg driving. Check this out. Now, what's really exciting about this is it appears to be a stunt sequence where Mark Wahlberg is hanging off the side of Bumblebee, and Bumblebee's door is missing. Now, what's going on here? I'm just thinking that either this stunt was so intense, like he had to do like a wide turn and then it's throwing him off to the side, or a Decepticon potentially ripped off the door of Bumblebee and then also pulled his chair to the side, so that's why Kate Yeager has to hang off to the side. So that is pretty intense, okay? But what's really crazy about this scene is what takes place afterwards. And this was posted on the Transformers movie Instagram account, and it's a short video, and what you see here is Bumblebee as a convertible be in front of a green screen, and then you have Kate Yeager hanging off. Okay, so what this means, obviously, is that Bumblebee is going to be in the air. Bumblebee, as a vehicle mode, he's going to be on a ramp or some kind, but he jumps in the air, and of course the green screen is supposed to represent, you know, the background flying, you know, the background is moving while he's up in the air, but Kate Yeager's still hanging off of it. And this is an intense chase sequence because the Barricade Bumblebee chase just went airborne. Okay? Now, something very interesting that I noticed about this chase sequence is that not only does Bumblebee's door get ripped off, but Barricade, in the photo posted by T Hoffman 90, has damage on the side, on the front side, okay? And I'm just thinking, did someone hit his car hit the Barricade vehicle by accident? Or is this Michael Bay's first opportunity to address actual battle damage in vehicle form? You know, in all the Transformers films, all the vehicle forms have always been in pristine condition. Maybe this is actually a time where we're not only just going to see damage on the robot modes, but also in the vehicle modes. Because after all, Bumblebee's door got ripped right off. So I think that's realistic. I think it's very, very realistic if they do that. After all, fans have always been asking, and they almost even consider this a plot hole. I don't even really care. But why do they always appear pristine in vehicle mode, and why not? And why do they appear damaged in robot mode? This could be Michael Bay's opportunity to really fix that. Okay. Now you have noticed that Kate Yeager is obviously involved in a lot of intense sequences, okay? From foot chases to rooftop chases to hanging off Decepticon arm cannons to car chases. And, well, the theme of Kate Yeager being in wild situations is not over, because check out this photo shared by Mojo215 on Twitter. He showed me a photo of Mark Wahlberg holding what appears to be potentially Excalibur. Look at that. That's a sword. That's a long sword. And the next photo is Mark Wahlberg holding Excalibur, or I'm just going to call it Excalibur, and there's Josh Duhamel's character, Lennox. So what is going on here? What's the most interesting thing about all of this is that this scene right here with Excalibur, the last scene with Barricade and Bumblebee in the car chase, and also the scene before that where he's hanging on to the arm cannon, are three completely separate sequences. You know why? Because check out the wardrobe. Look at the wardrobe on Cade when he's holding the sword. That's something entirely different. And look at him when he's being chased by Barricade. He's wearing a dark shirt. And then look at him when he's holding onto the arm cannon. He's wearing his jacket. So these are three separate sequences. One takes place in Chicago, one takes place in London, and the other takes place, I don't know, another time period. I'm not suggesting that, I'm kind of suggesting that time travel could take place, or maybe like portals to another time period, but I'm not going to throw that out there to confirm it or anything. I'm just thinking that, we're in different points, different situations in the story, all right? Three completely different situations in the story. Now, this leads more credibility to the plot leak from Joe Blow. Remember the Joe Blow plot leak, which suggested that the film story has to do with medieval times and Merlin and magicians and sorcery and Excalibur and the Knights of the Round Table. Well, this leads to more credibility to that. Okay, there's your evidence right there. And for those that thought that the plot leak was false or fake or just a mere rumor, I think you guys spoke too soon. So anyways, that is really, really exciting. Now, I think that's pretty much it. That's all I have to really say in this episode. Let's take a look and see what's going on over at Snapchat. Check this out. The first photo is a photo of the monitor, the playback monitor, and you see here Squeaks with some jumping gear. And by jumping, I mean like jumping off a plane gear. You can see a bunch of soldiers there, and they're getting ready to jump off. This is inside the plane, and Squeaks must be playing a very, very important role in this situation, or rather the story, because they need him. They need him to go along with the jump, and that's why he's wearing that gear. Let's check it out. See, here's an exterior shot of the plane, this cargo plane, and maybe they're doing the jump right here. It's taking place in a green screen soundstage, so of course that's going to be all done, all rendered later in post-production. I guess that is the exterior of the plane. It appears to be on a gimbal. You can see there's this round thing. So obviously they're going to make the plane go like that, and maybe they're going to encounter a little bit of turbulence caused by Decepticons. Who knows? And the last thing is a little bit of destruction from what appears to be the back of a van and green car parts. So this could be the Stella Artois, the back of the Stella Artois vehicle, but Saturday got pretty real. And now here's an interior shot of Bumblebee's Camaro mode. Looks pretty sick with the really clean looking Autobot logo on the steering wheel. Very, very cool. So finally, what we're going to do now is questions. I said that if you tweeted me a question, put a hashtag the road to TF5, I'm going to answer the question for you. So the first question comes from Thomas Protentis. With Optimus Prime finding Cybertron, do you think we'll finally see Ultra Magnus or Hot Rod? There's a possibility. There's a huge possibility that I would see either of them. I just think that we're only going to see either one or the other. I think that putting Ultra Magnus and Hot Rod creates a very, very loaded story, and I already think the story is already quite loaded. To even have Ultra Magnus and Hot Rod in it is a long shot. I don't think they're going to be in it, but if they're going to put any of them in it, it's going to be one or the other, but not both, okay? That's what I think. All right, next question comes from Caleb Warren. Do you think that Megan Fox will have a love interest with Kate Yeager? Not sounding weird, just wondering. No. Simple answer, no. Megan Fox is not even in this movie, okay? Rose Donegan asked, do you think any Autobots will be killed off in The Last Night? Now, Autobots dying is a theme that we've seen in the first 3 films. Sorry, there's something distracting me. Oh, it's some garbage. Okay. So, Autobots dying is a theme that was obviously covered in the first 3 films. Jazz, the RC triplets, Jetfire, Optimus Prime, if you will. Transformers Dark of the Moon, we saw Q and who else died? Ironhide. Yes, Ironhide. Transformers Age of Extinction, we saw Leadfoot and Ratchet die. So who's gonna die in this one? I'm thinking Drift. I think Drift is gonna go. It's unfortunate, but that's who I think. Now, this is just a guess. I don't have anything to base my theory on. I'm just guessing that if any of these Autobots is gonna go, it's gonna be Drift. Okay. Final question is from Davin Parker. Do you think the movie is split between 2 or 3 different plot stories and that the Combaticons are one of them? In the previous episode, I speculated and ruled out that the Combaticons are not going to be in this film. Alright, so I'm not even going to go there. But I do think that there's going to be 3 stories going on. Okay? There's going to be the Autobot story. There's going to be the human story with Cade Yeager, and then there's going to be, there's 3 human stories going on, essentially. The military story with TRF, the Cade Yeager story, and the Isabella Moner story, okay? And each one of these is connected to a robot story. Cade Yeager's story, whoops, I don't want to, okay. Cade Yeager's story is going to be connected to Optimus Prime and the other Autobots. Isabella Moner's story is going to have to do with Squeaks, and TRF's story is going to have to do with the Decepticons. Okay, so that's the way I see it, okay? So that's it for questions. If you want to ask me more questions, tweet it to me with the hashtag #TheRoadToTF5. And finally, the last thing we're going to do is shout-outs. So let's give Twitter shout-outs to Elijah Cameron, Robbie Nelson, DatAsian14, Danny Walker, Tyler Jones, Smokeless Gravity, Hunted Pie, Brandon Bunn, Barry Fire, and also Anti-Dark Matter. So thanks a lot, guys, for following me on Twitter at Ragin Nation. And that's all I gotta say in this video. So here's the question that I want to ask you guys before I sign off. Who is crashing through those cars in London? That mobile ramp just crashed through some vehicles. Who do you think is crashing through? Obviously, it's a robot mode, and no Autobot would cause that much destruction. They'd be a little bit more considerate, I think, okay? And who do you think's arm cannon does that belong to? Cade is hanging on to an arm cannon. Who do you think that belongs to? Let me know in the comment section below. Heck, it could even be a Combaticon. I don't know. It could be anybody. But there you have it. That's all I got to say in this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. We're going to be putting out more Road to TF5 episodes because obviously the production is still underway and there's a lot to talk about. So make sure you stay subscribed to this channel. Show me some support by hitting the like button, subscribing to this YouTube channel, liking me on Facebook, The Ragin Nation. Also follow me on Twitter at Ragin Nation. I got Instagram. Follow me on Instagram at The Ragin Nation. And I'll see you next time on the next episode of The Road to TF5. My name's Alex Yu, signing off. Peace. Mark Wahlberg on a rooftop. Cade Yeager cannot seem to get a break. He seems to be always getting himself into trouble.